Okay, so what is up guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to talk about the differences between the Galaxy S22 Ultra and the Galaxy S23 Ultra. I have been daily driving the S23 Ultra for about a week now, and I figured there are some differences with these two phones that the general public might miss. There's a lot of hype going around saying these two devices are the same thing. I mean, they are similar, but they're definitely not the same thing. So today I'm going to pretty much go through everything that I've noticed from using this one for about a week. I'm sure there's going to be more down the line, but for right now, here are the differences that I've found. The first one is definitely the physical differences. That is, the phones themselves are actually different physically. So the S22 Ultra is more rounded corners and rounded edges, while the S23 Ultra is a little more boxed off, and the front screen is a little flatter than the wraparound that's on the S22 Ultra. Now, this may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but one of the complaints I had about my S22 Ultra was the fact that it always dug into my pinky finger and it left a mark because, you know, it was just really too sharp in my experience, especially when I was not using a phone case. But the S23 Ultra is less like that, and I'm able to actually use this without a phone case, and it's really, really convenient because of the boxed off and the flatter edges, if that makes sense. The next difference, which is like the one that people talk about the most, is the new 200 megapixel camera sensor on the S23 Ultra. Coming all the way from a 108 megapixel sensor on the S22 Ultra, there is a jump in the quality, especially when you're using the ultra zoom mode, right? And of course, the front-facing cameras are now different. So this was a 48 megapixel front-facing camera, but now on the S23 Ultra, you have a 12 megapixel front-facing camera. And that might seem like a downgrade at first, but it really isn't. And here's why. So one of the advantages the iPhone 14 Pro Max had over the S22 Ultra was the fact that the front-facing camera could do 4K video in 60 frames per second, right? Now that advantage is completely gone because I can now shoot 4K 60 frames per second video with the front-facing camera of my Galaxy S23 Ultra. Another very important thing to note is that there's actually a physical difference in the size of the camera module of both phones. So the camera module on the S23 Ultra is actually physically larger. So no, you're not going to be able to use the same phone cases for both phones. That's just not going to work. There's also the fact that the screen on the S23 Ultra is brighter than the screen on the S22 Ultra. So you can actually see this better when you're outdoors and it's complete bright sunlight. I mean, you could see the S22 Ultra, but it wasn't as bright or as convenient. But now you don't have the same problem here anymore. Also, the quality and the strength of the glass on this phone has been improved. So you now have Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front and the back of the phone. So it's a lot stronger. And I think the biggest difference this year for me personally, and the one I'm most grateful to Samsung for, is the fact that they've completely gotten rid of the Exynos version of this phone. They did not release an Exynos 2300 for this year, which means every of the phones are getting Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, but not just the regular Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. They actually worked very closely with Qualcomm to develop the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, and the performance on these phones have been insane since I started using them. I mean, obviously, the performance here was insane too because this was a Snapdragon phone, but it's supposed to be a lot better now, even though I haven't pushed it much. So I will be putting the phone through its paces for my final full review of this device, which should be coming sometime next week. And yes, for everyone who's about to ask in the comment section, I'm definitely keeping the S23 Ultra over the S22 Ultra. It's the better phone. Yes, the differences this year were a little muted, but there are significant differences for the people who actually use their phones and daily drive them to the maximum every single day. So all the differences I have listed, I will go more in depth into them when I actually do my full review. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe so that you can see that video. Thank you so much for watching, and I guess I will see you on another video that was shot by Kagan. Peace. The Khan of God.